ahead to Nigeria, where the Senate has withdrawn a report that largely exonerated South African telecoms giant MTN of illegally repatriating about $14 billion US. The Senate also rebuked the Nigerian central bank for regulatory failures. The report was almost immediately sent back for further work because it did not capture possible infractions by all stakeholders. Now, the crux of the allegation is that MTN did not obtain certificates declaring it had invested foreign currency in Nigeria within the 24-hour deadline stipulated in a 1995 law, making the repatriation of returns on the investments illegal. MTN has denied any wrongdoing. Now, CGTN Deji Badmus joins us in Lagos with more on this story. As always, welcome, Deji. Now, according to the Senate, they say this report was poorly investigated and full of indecent holds. That's a quote directly from the Senate. Now, give us the main gist of this report and how exactly it exonerates MTN.
Well, first, Uche, I actually have not cited that report. I haven't seen it, but we've heard a lot about it. What we understand that the report actually contained, scathing remarks that in the report now, the members of the committee now who investigated, who carried out the investigation now, I'm talking about the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and other financial institutions now, that their report basically was scathing now against the CBN. It condemned the CBN for not doing its work, but that it just merely reprimanded MTN and the other banks involved in the alleged violation of the rules. So basically that's it. And we understand that senators, quite a number of senators, were not happy with the report, and they actually asked the committee to go back and well, according to them now, do a proper job and then apportion some very strong blames to all the parties involved, Uche.
And Deji, what exactly does this mean, especially for MTN, the fact that they've withdrawn it for further consultations and what they say is further legislative work?
Well, to be candid, I don't think MTN would be losing sleep over this. The fact is that for the committee members to actually come out with this report we're hearing now, I mean, says a lot that there is probably some kind of disagreement now among senators. And in any case, the fact is that the Senate hasn't got the powers to prosecute. I mean, it still would have to recourse to the executive now for prosecution, if at all it would come to that. I think at the end of the day, what we're going to see would be probably very strong words now from the Senate condemning MTN and, of course, especially the CBN for allowing, well, this violation, if you like, to happen. But other than that, I do not see any imposition of fine in this case. We just have to wait and see what happens. But to be candid, I don't think MTN should be losing sleep over this at all.
Now, Deji, given the fact that the report questions the Central Bank of Nigeria as well as some members of the Senate, does this recent news raise any questions about the way this has been handled?
Well, there had always been questions right from day one when this investigation started with the way this whole thing was handled, especially on the side of the CBN. For instance, we all know that MTN has come out to say, well, that it didn't think it violated the laws of this country, that it didn't think it acted wrongly because according to MTN, it was practically impossible now to issue that certificate of capital importation within 24 hours of carrying out the transaction. And in any case, MTN too has always argued that it didn't declare dividend and, of course, did not share dividend, as a matter of fact, until the certificates had been obtained. So I think for the MTN, this, of course, will be not be good. But whether the Senate can, take any stronger action against the CBN is difficult to tell. What we may see in the coming days is that the CBN might decide to, amend the rules a little bit instead of making it 24 hours, probably amend it to give, firms more time to obtain these certificate of capital importation, because obviously some people have argued that that 24-hour window given by the CBN is actually very short, and that's one of the reasons the CBN too basically asked banks to seek its approval where it is not possible to issue this certificate of capital importation within the 24-hour period. But then we just have to wait and see what happens. Uche?
Well, as always, thank you, Deji, for those insights. Deji Badmus joining us there in Lagos.